Hey there. I'm walking down the street. I don't know what street this is. It's a main happening one though. In downtown, as they call city center, Vienna, Austria. It doesn't feel like Austria to me here. I don't know what that means. I think maybe Laura was saying this, that estabas diciendo que esta ciudad no parece como estabas pensando? Yeah, that was her. She was saying it doesn't feel a lot like it very much doesn't feel like what she was anticipating. So streets like this, they're just like so, so commercial, right? Tremendous. But that's not what I'm getting at right now. So I was thinking about, in every country that we've gone to for the most part, and not all of them, sometimes there's something that crosses my mind and I'm like, I'm going to share it out there, see if we can get some conversation started on this. If I can't get some conversation started on this, then I'm a big, freaking lame sailboat just sinking away. But anyway, here's what I'm thinking and what I want to know your thoughts on. So, how's it going, guys? How are y'all? There's a bunch of dudes. There's like two groups of dudes. This one's here, and these guys over here, kind of like eyeing each other. Whenever I see human beings like that, like two groups of young guys, and they're kind of eyeing each other, kind of like, I think of like groups of like animals, where they're like, stomping their hooves and just like wanting to go like butt horns and stuff like that, like groups of young stallions just wanting to go and like, lift their hoofs up at each other and, figure out who the toughest horse is, right? It's instances like that where I'm like, half of humanity is all this like fancy, impressive, advanced stuff, like taking rocket ships to the moon and, deconstructing cellular science so we can create all this amazing badass medicine and like engineering things like crazy. And then you got these dudes, just like, I'm a tougher dude than you. No, you're not. I'm a tougher dude than you, and we're gonna stare at each other in our little groups. And maybe slightly possible probability we might do something stupid like punch each other or whatever. But so anyway, I definitely also feel like males are like the way stupider half of the species. If we were to make the entire like world run by women, like all the world leaders, you'd still have some stupid things happen for sure. But I think you'd have less war, just like less violent stuff. Now, hey, you can try all night long to tell me that I'm wrong about that, but look at the stats on violent crime and go ahead and tell me what percentage of that is done by dudes and which isn't. And then let's have that conversation again. But so anyway, it's pretty hopping down here. Super multicultural too. I mean, that's another thing that's so wild. There's so much multiculturalism, which again, you'd probably see, of course, in like New York and places like that too. But I haven't even started what I wanted to talk about, which I'm about to do. So we just finished eating, had very mediocre soup. Yikes. One of them was pretty okay-ish. The other one, the tomato soup, was not good. Just get the tomato soup at, what's the name of ¿cómo se llama el lugar en Estados Unidos? Panera. Just go get the Panera tomato soup and their little bread loaf they give you with it. And it's going to crush what we just had here in Vienna, Austria. But so, the service was not very good. And again, people might say, oh, the service in Europe is not good anyway. That's not always true. We've had very nice servers in very, very, many places. It hasn't been an exception. It's been normal to have nice servers for the most part in different countries. I mean, they haven't like gone crazy, being, like just psychotically nice, but you don't get that in the US all the time either. I mean, I have rude servers all the time, in the US, or at least they're indifferent. So my point is this though. The service was less good tonight, way less good than average. And there was a group of different servers taking care of us. It was like 2 or 3 guys, 2 mostly. Well, here's what I find funny about that. This restaurant was fancier This restaurant had some more Americans in it. There was an American couple to my left that was a little quiet, didn't say much to us. And this really cool couple in front of us from San Diego, which they're already, you know, they're already winning in my heart because I love that freaking city so damn much. I can't even, golly, I'll start crying if I talk for too long about how much I love San Diego. There's a pretty interesting square here. Take a look at this. This is cool. This kind of has kind of like a Times Square-y type feeling to it. It doesn't have all the crazy screens and lights, but it has some of the lights, and it has the people, right? I mean, it's pretty interesting, right? It's a lot of people. Big old space here. Man, if we were to just freeze everybody like a video game and like have a little flag pop up over everybody's head, you don't even have to freeze them for that, I guess. But if a little flag popped up over everybody's head saying which country that their, like, you know, ethnicity is, we'd have a bunch. I'm telling you, we would have a bunch. Bunches of different people from bunches of different places. For sure. But so let me get to my freaking point, which if you've watched any of my videos before, you're like, Jason, you're not so good at doing that. It takes you a little while. So my point, there's that cool cathedral back there too. My point is that these were not very nice servers tonight. And who cares about the soup, right? I'm not talking about that at all. Well, guess what? Guess what? At the end of our meal, guess what happened? You might be able to guess. They said, when it was time to pay, they said, the tip is not included in this price that we're showing you. They never say that in Europe, hardly. I think one other place has said it. I don't even remember where it was. I think it was kind of a weird place. Like, it was not a normal restaurant. It was like maybe on a boat or something. I can't remember. But so then it all came together for me. It all came together. I was like, these guys have created a tipping culture at this particular restaurant, okay? They are catering to Americans because they probably, for whatever reason, just get a bunch of them, and their setup attracts a bunch of Americans. It's attracted us, attracted the people to our left, attracted the people right in front of us. And so they have also infected their restaurant. Okay, let me use that word. They have infected. They have taken on the illness of tipping culture, which not only has them depending on it for whatever reason, but whenever they feel like they might not get tipped as well as they want, guess what happens? They start acting shitty to the people that they're taking care of, just like these guys did tonight. These 2 or 3 guys got the idea, and you know how waiters are, or any friends and employees, they go talk, you know, behind closed doors. So after our initial interaction with these people, we got ignored for a solid 10 minutes, which is a long time sitting at a table, right? And I'm not a restaurant complainer. I'm really not a complainer in general, honestly. I mean, some things I do complain about because they piss me off, like, well, let's not get into it. But, yeah, a little bit of backache there with some deep breaths. Ooh, it's weird. A little muscle pain in the back. I just wanted to share again, you know, just like I found that interesting that the restaurant that happened to not be cool to us happened to be one that also asked for tips. Now, again, I'm telling you, if we've eaten at 40 restaurants in the last few weeks here in Europe, like I said, they're only one of 2 that have asked, and they've been the scummiest in terms of treatment. So what am I asking you to talk about? And actually, you know, whatever. Actually, I won't say the name. I work part-time at a place that is busy a lot of the time, and they pay their employees $2.15 or whatever server wages, right? Like, I don't work there for the money. I work there because I thought it was a cool place and I love my friends and stuff. But how? You know, how does the richest country on earth, let's talk about that for a second. How does the richest country on the freaking planet, how do they get away with creating laws where businesses can pay $2 an hour? I just don't understand how you can corrupt politicians enough to pass those kind of laws. I mean, golly, what in the world? So what do you guys think about tipping culture? You know, would you rather that servers make $15 an hour, $20 an hour, and you only tip, you know, $1 or a few bucks here if you really had great service. If you're like, you know what, we know these people don't depend on us. We know these people don't depend on us for the tip. They're already making 18 bucks an hour. But they were so damn nice, and we talked to them, and they're a college kid or whatever's going on, you know, they're saving to travel the world or something. We're gonna leave them $5, right? But if I don't happen to do it, it's not gonna be a big deal because they're already making $18 an hour. Because the company is paying them the way that they should, right? Now, or maybe you can do it like in a tiered level. If this is a new restaurant or new bar that's trying to get on their feet and they're paying less, maybe that's gonna help them not close down, right? But here's my question on that too. What about that poor server who's working at this restaurant and they're only making minimum wage, $7 or whatever it is right now, $7.25 or whatever it is, because it's slow. It's like, oh well, let's help the restaurant out by letting them pay $2.15 an hour, but that poor employee's, you know, just barely making it or whatever. But at the end of the day, I just want to reiterate that it's awfully intriguing to me that we encountered, you know, pretty far below standard coolness from the servers, and then that happened to be connected with them asking for a tip at the end, which guess what? They got €3 from me. They got €3 from me, which is not that bad. The bill was only $34 because we just ordered soups. But and they, you know, were pretty frowny about us ordering bottled water. It's like that was one of the things that turned them. I mean, tap water. Okay. That's a weird thing here too. And they never ask if you need any more, right? It's just so strange. They're so anti. You can read articles and people will tell you that left and right. But so yeah, just this whole conversation is what's going on with the tip culture. There's been a lot of articles written in about the U.S. tip culture recently. I've encountered it myself in the stockyards in the north side of Fort Worth. I ordered like some nachos about a year ago, and it asked me to leave a tip, and I'm like, huh. I've got that feeling of pressure all of a sudden, you know, where they're gonna see it. Okay, so I'll leave, you know, 10% or whatever, which was however much money, $2, $1.50, I don't know. And then I asked the girl, I was like, hey, how much are you making? She's like, oh, they pay us $15 an hour. I'm like, huh. Interesting. So you guys are asking for tips when you're already making $15 an hour. So if you're gonna make, you know, $1 or $2 or $3 per chunk of these transactions, you could be making like an insane amount of money. You could be crushing the amount of money your manager is making if people are tipping you regularly. And so how do you know this kind of thing, right? Like, are you just going to ask everybody? You know that your servers and your, you know, bartenders are going to be making the ridiculous should be illegal wage. Should be illegal. Let me make sure you heard that right. Bunch of more interesting Vienna stuff. Again, walking through downtown Vienna. Oops, go ahead. Sorry. And yeah. We are just basically doing nothing else. And I'm just going over that topic and how, again, I don't mind giving you my opinion. I don't do that when I teach class most of the time. I feel like it's unethical. I want my students to think for themselves and not be, you know, driven by my opinion, because that's not good teaching. But we're not in a classroom right now. This is an open forum conversation. I want to hear from you. Do you think it should be illegal to be paying so little? Or like I was getting at earlier, if a company's making enough money, like if their profits are so high, should it be illegal for them to keep paying their employees below minimum wage, right? Should they have to pay at least, you know, 7 or 8 or 10 an hour or something like that? Just whatever you think about it, I want to know what you think. My final statement, though, is that my experience tonight is that it leaves me feeling like these servers in their brains, they got the idea that, hey, this guy ordering the tap water, getting some soup, right, instead of ordering these $25 schnitzel dishes, maybe they're not going to tip us as much because their bill's going to be less. We'll let them sit there for 10 minutes and we won't be particularly nice about things, right? We'll just, you know, we'll just kind of give them the very lowest level service, since they're probably not going to be tipping us that much anyway. You know, we'll just let them figure things out, because we don't expect much, right? We're not going to be cool. So it's an interesting little park area right here. Oops. People sitting around chilling, smoking their vapes, whatever's in them. It's pretty happening down here. It is Friday night. Let me remind you, it is Friday night. I mean, it's kind of fun. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Laura, ¿te gusta la energía esta noche o no? Es interesante, es como Nueva York o algo. So anybody who clicks to watch this video, you're gonna get one of two things at the same time. You're getting kind of a little like walking tour of city center Vienna to a degree, right? All these different people, all this human action. And then you're gonna get this little side conversation about tipping. And then, hey, you know what? Not only do you get to listen to conversation, which is not really conversation, it's me talking, you get to create conversation by providing a response so we can talk about it, because I do want to know what you think. Yeah, you know, there's I won't say the name of the bar either. There's a bar in Fort Worth where they're so busy all the time. And I've heard that, you know, they're making 300 to 400 a night, you know, on you know, regular busy evenings. Obviously, those people are going to say, like, no way, dude. We don't care how much the bar pays us an hour, because we're just, you know, like cleaning house on tips. Well, that's cool for them, right? It's cool for them, but that's not the case for everybody, right? Obviously, it's not the case. And, you know, I guess what would the more, you know, like capitalist answer be? It would be like, well, if you don't like your situation, then go get a job at a busier bar, right? I guess. I don't know. But I still personally think it's a sham paying $2 an hour. I think it's a sham. The whole, I don't want to say sham. I think it's unfortunate what tipping does to people's spirits. Well, hello. As a server sometimes. And I've seen it before. I worked briefly as a server when I was in my late teens. There was a lot of craziness going on with it. There was a lot of racism. There was a lot of just unfairness divvied out based again on how somebody felt like they were going to get tipped, or how the table was going to treat them. Interesting group right here. Got a bunch of dudes that's chilling here. A whole bunch of them. Like 18, 19 different dudes all chilling. Had to maneuver around them. A bunch of more dudes here. Got a McDonald's right here. It's the Italian restaurant we ate at last night across the road. Bunch more dudes right here. There's a bunch of guys here on this block. A bunch of guys from a bunch of different ethnicities. But alright, so the end of the video, this is long enough now. Oh my gosh, so long. The end of the video is asking, does the greed, does the anticipation of financial gain corrupt the spirit and essence of a server so that they are going to then treat you better if they think you're going to pay them better, or they're going to treat you worse if they think you're not going to be a very good, you know, source of cash for them? I think it happens very regularly, and servers watching this video are going to be like, duh, what do you want me to do? Like, just freaking waste all my energy on somebody who's ordering like a soda and a freaking, you know, like a cup of coffee, and, you know, gonna have a $3 tab so I can come over there and they, you know, leave me $1 tip. You know, I've got this table down the way, you know, an 8-top who's, you know, ordering appetizers and all this kind of stuff, and that's where I'm gonna be making my money. Well, you know what I would say to them? I'd say you're exactly right, which is my freaking point, is that you're gonna be a douchebag to the people that are going in there because they were thirsty. Like, they, you know, I remember one time I went into IHOP and ordered a glass of milk. This was when I was probably like 18, I remember. I think I was with my friend. I don't know, who was I with at the time? I can't remember. But the milk was like $1.50, and I left them like $6.50. And I was like, hey, I've been sitting in here, you know, talking with my friend for an hour, and I had $1.50 worth of, you know, milk. You know, I think it's only fair, you know, I leave $5 to this, you know, nice server for me sitting in their section for this long. No, that's probably not the normal thing that people would do. But my point is, you never know. You never know. And so the game of financial gain that is dependent on tipping produces differentiated treatment from your server sometimes, and that sucks. What do you think? Let me know what you think. And while you're thinking about what you think, take another look. There's some water right over there. It's not the Danube River proper. It is the Danube Canal, which is a little canal that connects out to the Danube River, the big, gigantic, beautiful, second longest river in Europe. Really great that we were on earlier today, going to Bratislava, Slovakia, and back, that river. But yeah, all right, so yeah, take a look here. Downtown city center, Vienna, Austria on a Friday night. What do you think about tipping and non-tipping and the laws behind it? Let me know what you think. Again, from Jason Martinez's half Mexican, Texan perspective, I think it's a bunch of nonsense. My opinion, tipping should be extra when you really, really like the service you got. You shouldn't be letting companies get away with freaking robbery by paying their employees less. It doesn't make sense to me most of the time. Let me know what you think though. You guys have a great evening. We're leaving Vienna tomorrow. I'll give you some thoughts on that in a different video. Yikes, 21-minute video. It's a long one. It is. Yeah, there's a bunch more human big city action. It's not something that we're new to, right? See everybody later. Hope you're doing well. Good night.